I love a good platformer. Being a 90s game, I remember a lot of the games I used to play, which were based off movies, television, or whatever, were platformers. Ninja Turtles, Simpsons. The platformer was one of the most synonymous genres with the 8-bit and 16-bit eras. And for the major two systems, which were Sega's Master System and then Genesis/Mega Drive, and then the Nintendo Entertainment System and the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, you had the main mascots, which were Sonic for Sega, Mario for Nintendo. But when we got to the PlayStation, the game started to shift, and especially platformers became a lot more like experimental. The PlayStation being out a while before the N64 and massively overshadowing the Saturn, there was different styles of platformers. We know that Nintendo nailed it with Mario 64, but I personally just couldn't get along with that style of platforming. And for me, when Crash Bandicoot came out in 1997, it epitomised the platformer for that generation, for the 32-bit generation. It had the wackiness of Sonic, and it had the puzzles I'd come to expect from Mario. It had the creativity, it had the different sort of styles and stages. It had a bit of humour to it. It was probably, up until that point, the best platformer on the system, at least for me. I didn't get to play a lot of Crash Bandicoot 2 or Crash Bandicoot 3 because I was going through a time in my life when they came out where I came away from gaming. So when the Crash Bandicoot N Sane Trilogy dropped in 2017, I was absolutely gutted because it was on PlayStation and I happened to have an Xbox at that point. Lately, the trilogy dropped on Game Pass, so I actually thought, I'm going to give this a shot, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It brought back those feelings of just fun and creativity in gaming, and I kind of feel like a lot of modern games I was playing were all pretty much the same. They were quite bland. It felt really good to have that different experience again. So guys, welcome to Blind Man Plays. I'm Jared Walters. This is 10 random facts and opinions on Crash Bandicoot N Sane Trilogy.
This time, I shall reign triumphant. We are closer than ever before. Quickly, into...
Because it's pointless me reviewing it. Because it's been out for quite some time and it's pretty well known. But I thought if I do some facts to you guys, if I lay some knowledge down, perhaps you guys might find that valuable and some good conversation bits about this game. I wanted to talk about this game because I just wanted to express like how much it really sort of reinvigorated my love for gaming, and how much it kind of brought what I remember from like the 90s a bit more into the modern day. So the first thing is, it is actually a remaster, not a remake. It's kind of both because the code had to be rewritten. This meant that all three games used the physics of Crash Bandicoot 3. And I kind of like this. However, it did make some stages a lot harder because of the jumping mechanism. The developers used inspiration from the original code. The code underwriting the N Sane Trilogy is very different to the original code, as the original Naughty Dog code was lost. However, they did use the original level geometry, so the levels basically are mapped out near enough exactly the same. And it was kind of dubbed as Remaster Plus, so it wasn't a full remake and it wasn't a full remaster. It was kind of somewhere in between, which is an odd thing for, I suppose, a remaster to go through. But I imagine, for me, it kind of reminds me of like when you have these old TV programs, like old episodes of Doctor Who and stuff that get lost, and we've now animated some of them to introduce them to a new audience. It's the first time that Crash Bandicoot, or the original Crash Bandicoot games, appeared on multi-platforms. Basically, originally being released on PS4 in 2017, like I said, and then eventually a few years later it came to Xbox One, Nintendo Switch and PC. The PC and Switch versions having an extra added No More Lives mode. The third point I want to make is during the levels, more checkpoints were added to make the actual playthroughs a bit easier. Now, I noticed this when playing certain levels, that if I lost quite a few lives trying to do a jump or whatever, the game would actually put a checkpoint in for me to actually move forward. And I kind of liked that. It kind of helped you along a little bit more, whereas the original Crash Bandicoot was remorseless. It was remorseless, and this is still very, very difficult, but the difficulty curve is a lot more forgiving then.
Closer than ever before. Quickly, into the vortex.
Dr. Cortex, the vortex is not ready. We have no idea what it could do.
Failure again.
The new trilogy had better upgraded cutscenes, especially in Crash Bandicoot 1. In the original game, some would just text over a picture, whereas these have been fully animated, fully rendered, and they look and feel as if they were always part of the game. Better voice acting. Cortex's voice was recast and redone. The soundtrack was also remastered with real instruments, which is also kind of cool.
I've been looking everywhere. I don't have much time to tell you this. You have to be careful. Trusting Cortex.
Number 5, there were new gameplay mechanics. Coco was playable in all 3 games. There was new time travels added, a new save system. Thank God. The save system is actually really cool, where you have 3 different save slots and you have an auto save slot. So the game always auto saves, but you can save yourself and like go back beyond the auto save if you want to. And I found that really, really cool. And the boss fights have been reworked. And I noticed this as well. The physics is a lot easier with the boss fights. I felt like, for example, if I'm jumping like diagonally, a lot of the times in the original game it would just jump to the left, and I was trying to jump sort of up and left. So a lot of the physics around that has been reworked. Point number 6. There's new unlockable levels. The level Stormy Ascent, which was taken out of the first game for being too difficult, was later released as a DLC, and there's a level added to Crash Bandicoot 3 as well. I believe it's in the time trials. It's called Future Tense, but it was the only new level that was added to the Sane Trilogy, and added a bit of. I think it was added as like a bit of a thank you from the development team. The next point I want to make is about the graphical design and the design of the games. Well, this is something that I thought was excellent, because the stage layouts are exactly the same. The jumps are near enough exactly the same, although a little bit harder due to the change in the physics. But the actual detail on the levels, the actual how the levels look and feel hasn't changed, but you can tell that care has gone into the level design. There's new character models, there's richer backgrounds, new effects to the things like fur or the trees in the background or the water, the reflections in the water. And even things like improved like lip sync and you know, just little extra animations all make this to me is pretty much, although it's a remaster, it's a new game. You know, these collections, such as like the Sega Mega Drive collection, that just pack in your boatload of games, and then you get these like remastered collections, a bit like the Sonic one that we did last week, where like care and attention's really gone into it. Same with the Cowabunga collection; they've really thought about the fan base. With this, they've really gone in and made something new out of what was already existing, which, another interesting fact, is the development time. The development time for the Sane Trilogy was pretty much longer than what it took to make the first couple of games. It was a good 3-year process, apparently. And it does show, because this brought about became the inspiration for the Spyro remakes. Never actually played Spyro the Dragon, so that might be a game I actually get into at some point and do a review on. And I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to those who have subscribed to the channel, and thank you for all the comments and feedback. If you are enjoying this video, please give the video a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to the channel by clicking the box. And you click the bell, all the good YouTube stuff. You know, you guys know the score by now. Come on, just come on, just do it. Go on, go and do it. Let me know you've done it in the comment section below. Anyway, he's now back, I suppose, and you know, there's still content and, you know, different games being made, or have recently been made with the Crash Bandicoot franchise. But it brought Crash Bandicoot back to Japan. It paved the way for Crash Bandicoot 4 and brought a new sort of golden age of Crash games. So, you know, I wanted to kind of show this and talk about, you know, some of the things surrounding this game, because I think it is one of those games and one of those remasters that can be celebrated, where like if you're playing on PlayStation, you can still on the PlayStation 1 store go back and purchase the original games as they were on PlayStation. And even though you're kind of having the same experience on the Sane Trilogy, it's a different experience. As well as being nostalgic, it creates something new without changing any of the core makeup of the game. It's, you know, it's quite ingeniously done, and I think it's one of the best examples of taking something from yesteryear and presenting it in such a cool way to a new audience, in such a way that it actually feels like, in its own right, a new game. It doesn't feel like a remaster, you know. And I think there's a lot that can be learned from this. I hope a lot is learned as gaming moves into whatever it's going to turn into, which is something I'm going to do an extra video about at some point, guys, because I feel the video game industry is changing, and I don't quite like the way it's going, but I also got quite a lot of thoughts on that. So that'll be another video coming out soon.
It's a merry way, we're here to say, get ready for an all-star show. There's 13 games in our Hall of Fame, because
Next week, we are going to be looking at the quality stylings of, the comedy stylings of, I feel like that Itchy and Scratchy land now.
The amusement park of the future, where nothing can possibly go wrong. possibly go wrong? That's the first thing that's ever gone wrong.
The comedy stylings of Rare Replay, because it's another replay collection that I think is at the pinnacle of some of the best replay collection, the best retro collections that are out there. And I've been playing that recently, and wow, been having a great deal of fun, and can't wait to share my thoughts about that with you guys. That's probably going to be a multi-part video because there's 30 games to go through there, and I've got to find the time to play them. But I am going to be releasing some other videos on this channel. Beyond the Game is coming back. I've got a few extra episodes of that, and I'm hoping to do some further content as the year goes on. It's going to be slow and steady, but you know, it's something I am committed now to doing. So is there any retro collections you guys would like me to cover as part of this series? Let me know in the comment section below. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you soon for another video. And God bless. See you soon, guys.